Hello, everybody. It's Holger Mueller here from Constellation Research, here to talk to you about ConstellationTV, episode number 69. Welcome, Liz, my fabulous co-host.
Episode 69. We're here to talk about tech. We're here to talk about news, but most importantly, we're here to talk about what each other has been up to, because I kind of see CRTV as our fastest time in enterprise tech. Is that what we're calling it? Where I get to find out what Holger's been up to. So,
and Liz has been up
what's going on with you?
And Liz has been up to do more things than I can think of, because I, for once, had a week at home. First week at home since August. Can you believe it?
Nice. I had one of those right around Halloween. It was pretty delightful. I'm not going to lie. It was pretty great. But then I managed, I think I spent my whole week writing up all the lists of things that I have to get done around the house that I haven't been able to do since I've been on the road so much. And then by the time I finished the list, it was the end of the week, so I never got anything done.
Strange how we do similar things. My lists are all up here, so there's some mental leakage there sometimes.
I'm gonna get you a notepad.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna get you an old-fashioned notepad, my friend. Oh my gosh. Well, listen, Holger, as much as we'd like to stay and gossip and spill the tea about one another's lives, we do have to talk about the news. What's going on? What's been top of mind for you?
Well, for me, last week was the last of the HR conferences, Ultimate Chronoscope Group, talking about releasing their new capabilities and their new plans, of course, fully ridden off AI. Now they're going to implement that, how they're going to provide their platform and improve their platform, what they're doing in providing the next generation of their HCM product. So that was a good conference there. And then very interesting for me, I was at IBM Research Analyst meeting. And I never been to the research location, the Watson campus in Yorktown, north of New York. So historic place to really be there and see what is happening and going on there. We learned all the stuff was either under NDA or under embargo. We can say that it was about AI, surprise, surprise, and was about quantum there. Stay tuned. Early December is the Quantum Summit in New York. So really, this would have been the year of quantum if we didn't have this damn double-digit two-letter acronym happening, starting with an A and ending with an I. So that was my week.
Well, gosh, I didn't talk anything about AI. Lies, I say. This is fooled you into believing it, but no.
I kept my face together for 1 second.
You really did. I know. I had a great time. I got to catch up with the folks over at Verint, and this is an organization that they have a really interesting history. They have a deep heritage in data. And that heritage and data took them in two kind of really interesting paths when they first started out. First in things like knowledge center and things like contact center. We're looking at, workforce management and in a topic near and dear to your heart in WFM. But they also had some security, right? So then they spun out the security. They really doubled down and focused in on the WFM and the contact center. And what they're really focused on, it was like bots everywhere. It was like botapalooza, right? Like if there is an action that can take place in the contact center, there's a bot for that. And there's a way to stack them, make them work together. One of the best things that we talked about was, I know that you love, Holger, talking about large language models and all of the data that gets pulled together, across an enterprise. All of that data store, everyone wants to talk about an LLM, and I got all this data, and it's a big LLM. And I know, Holger, you like to talk about it as a large knowledge model, like an homage to my initials, an LKM. But what I love that Verint was actually talking about was, instead of talking about like a data lake or a data store or a data hub, they were talking about this data hub as being like the gym for the bots. Like your bots got to go work out someplace. They got to get stronger. They got to get faster. They have to be more, sustainable. They've got to be able to, last. To be able to work alongside their human coworkers. And so you got to send your bots to the gym to get smarter. So, lots of good conversations there. But I think it was really the kind of the reminder for my year, which has really been, we're talking a lot about AI, but in the areas that I cover, especially across CX, it's really about where and how is AI very intentionally and purposefully applied so that it really drives almost a bidirectional value equation for not only the employee, like the agent who's in the call center, as well as the customer who's trying to look for that self-service model. So how do we start to balance those things? How do we start to orchestrate how all of these not just work together, but they work with their human counterparts? So lots of really good conversations as we head into the year. Last week, I think the both of us was kind of hard to ignore Microsoft Ignite. Back together, back in person in Seattle, but a very large hybrid experience as well. And, listen, Satya Nadella walked onto stage and said, listen, this is the age of co-pilots. And they wanted every co-pilot to be able to enhance and connect the knowledge of the world and all the knowledge that is out there with the knowledge of the enterprise. And kind of boldly claiming that co-pilots were the way to get you there, and co-pilots were going to be the path towards that. I think the big question for me, and I don't know if you had the same question that popped into your head, Holger, but the question for me is does that mean that 2024 is also going to be the year that we start applying co-pilots and AI to be able to extract the knowledge that our individual people have, to bring that back into the enterprise? I think a lot of times we look at AI and we look at all of these solutions as a way to get more knowledge, get more intelligence, get more recommendations, more things to our people. So we've got these now agent desktops that are riddled with all this information and riddled with all this data, all these next best things that they can say to a customer. But what we haven't necessarily focused in on is how do we get what's in the agent's mind, whether it's the notes that people have been taking or just historically the processes that they have just done that have never been documented. How do we start bringing that into that knowledge, into that knowledge model and that knowledge hub? I think that's going to be a big focus in 24. At least I hope it's going to be, because we can't keep spewing everything.
We're only at the beginning, right? I'm still in awe and admiration to a certain point, having worked at large enterprise software vendors with like 50,000 plus people, where even if the owner, founder, CEO says this is the way, you don't even notice that the ship has changed course and anything has happened. Right? So
it's not the Mandalorian, like this is the way.
Right? So the pivot of Microsoft towards generative AI, 10 billion reasons for it, but hey, whatever, 30 billion plus acquisition of LinkedIn didn't change Microsoft, right? So it's not the amount of money. I think it's the pent-up demand inside of Microsoft of not having a good AI viable solution, being behind on AI, and then unleashing all this pent-up demand into, now it's the co-pilots. But across the stack, I've not seen any large technology vendor so ruthlessly, passionately, disciplinedly, extensively, desperately. You can use pretty much all story. You can write a blog post about every attribute of how Microsoft is doing AI, and it's true. Like Microsoft has done this, right? So there's no question about it. And it creates problems, right? I mean, the super interesting news last week was that Microsoft and Oracle are partnering again to move Bing AI workloads, right? Which was the starter, right? Remember, Microsoft is doing this to kick Google on
search,
the advertising side, right? So that's what it's all about, right? So and now the Bing stuff goes onto Oracle machines. Thank you, Oracle Interconnect, right? Thank you, combined Oracle Microsoft customers who beat us up. Hey, I can't get away with the Oracle database, but I want to use Microsoft Cloud, create the fast connect, which wasn't fast enough. Now they're even faster connected. And oh, wow, this works pretty good for AI too. And Microsoft is doing commercially the right thing, right? I mean, I can charge more for my AI, about $30 per month for an office worker compared to what my little Bing things are doing. So I'm moving on the bottom line, paying a little more to someone like Oracle, frenemy maybe, partner, competitor, but I'm making more revenue on the top side. So very, very interesting to see.
I mean, I think they also have to do that because their original partnership and that, that historic sit down between Satya and Larry, where everyone was like, are they seriously sitting down together talking about is this really happening? And like, there was a lot of talk like, oh, it just gets them out of trouble. And oh, it just gets regulators off. Well, you got to start actually doing what you said you were going to do in that partnership. You got to start moving workloads, right?
I mean, like, how many partners have you seen like, I'm going to show up here and I'm going to talk and I love you and I love you, whatever.
Right.
No, they were both giddy like little boys. And you could even say, Satya,
they were excited about it.
Larry is closer to 80 than anything, and he's excited to be in Redmond for the first time. So who would have thought that Larry Ellison ever wanted to be in Redmond except for bombarding the place or blowing it up or buying it or whatever, right? So this is super interesting, fascinating, and good to see like when enterprises are doing the right thing, it's good for everybody. Right? It's good for customers, It's good for the enterprise, it's good for the employees, good for the roadmaps, for the functionality. It's just a win-win, keep saying win on that perspective.
Yeah, what I thought was really interesting about a lot of the Ignite news, I mean, a lot of the stuff that's coming out of customer service, a lot of things is certainly coming out of their sales co-pilots and, especially in marketing. I think in the CX space, what I've been really pleasantly surprised to see, because I think I don't know if you experience this in your space too, Holger, but I know like in CX, it's always like Oprah runs out into the studio and is like, you get an AI, like, woo, like everybody gets an AI, and like everyone's super excited, and like you name it, and you call it something cute, and like, oh my God, make a stuffed animal about it, and like everyone gets super excited about what the future could hold, and we start dreaming. And we start thinking of like, oh my God, it's gonna, and then then the fear comes in, like, it's gonna be so good, it's gonna take my job. Like, and that roller coaster of emotion of what's gonna happen when AI invades, got truncated into 6 months. And what I saw at Ignite was, okay, but this is what's happened when people started using it. Like, right, when customer service agents used Copilot, they could actually find answers 60% faster, right? Like it gave a definable value back to an individual when for many years, the value that we have measured things in, say, the contact center has been, how do we get those nasty meat suits called customers, those damn humans that keep calling on the phone, how do we get them out of here as fast as possible, right? We're starting, like AI has given us this breathing room to actually start coming up with better metrics and better ideas because our people are actually working more efficiently. They like asking generative AI these questions. They like using the Copilot because it actually helped them make someone happy, right? Like, so I think that this year I was really, really pleased with the content and the news announcements from Ignite because it was really it wasn't about a use case or a theoretical use case. It was like, this is what happened when Sam turned on the Copilot in service and helped these 10 customers. Like, this is actually what happened, as opposed to in our fake clothing store, we have our fake agent named Bob. It was like, how did Word connect with Outlook? Like, how do we let people live where they live? Like, how everyone's an Outlook. Why am I asking everyone to move? So I really thought that this year's Ignite was a moment of sanity in a 11-month arc of kind of wild, crazy, OpenAI, ChatGPT, AI, Copilot.
Right.
It just got,
and for the first time, it felt like Microsoft not going like whoosh, like wide with hardware, with HoloLens, with a little bit of Bing AI, whatever, like big spectrum, but Microsoft was going like this, right? With clear,
super focused.
Quick notable thing, right? Because I like to collect the inflection points. Microsoft for the first time announced their own chips, 2 of them, right? One surprisingly AI chip and one more data processing chip. So Microsoft's finally becoming part of the chip club, which others have been for a long time, which I think has held them back. Now they're paying for it to NVIDIA to a certain point, but we'll see how good and where well it goes.
Yeah. Well, Holger, as per usual, you and I get on a tangent, on a soapbox. We're here. We ran out of time. So that's the news. Listen, we've got a great episode coming up on episode 69 of CRTV. I'm going to bore you to tears with a couple of ideas on what's happening in CX. You're going to see an interview from our colleague and our fearless leader, Ray Wang. And then, hey, we might come back, have a little chat with you and say goodbye at the end. But stay tuned. We're going to have a great episode, everyone.
Hi everybody, I'm Ray Wang with ConstellationTV, and I'm lucky to be here today at IBM's research facilities, their headquarters in Yorktown, with Matt Candy.
Hey Ray.
Hey, nice to meet you.
Good to see you.
You know what's really exciting, you are the IBM Global Managing Partner for Generative AI. Tell me more about the role.
Yeah, so I sit within the consulting business in IBM, and so focused really on a few things, one of which is how we help our clients use this technology to transform their businesses. And so everything we're doing with our technology team and all of the partners that we work with to help drive transformation in clients. And then secondly, also looking at how we use this internally. And so how do we change how 160,000 people work in our consulting business?
And before this, you actually built the interactive business in Europe, if I remember.
Yeah, Europe, and then running it globally for the last 6 years. So everything we're doing around creative design, kind of experience, etc.
So we got right brain, left brain, AI, all coming into one spot.
Yep.
Now, you mentioned something today earlier about all these partnerships you have. Now, when I think of IBM, like IBM could do this on their own. Why all these partnerships?
Yeah, so open's really important to us, Ray, both for IBM and IBM Consulting. And I think when you think about strategic partners, companies like Salesforce, SAP, Oracle, AWS, Microsoft, right? These companies, and their platforms, they run the workloads, they run the processes within our clients, they run the workflows, and they're running the IT workloads. And so being able to kind of build skill and capabilities in those platforms and being able to wrap our technology around those in order to get to those business outcomes is super important.
Now you got the rapid commercialization of what's happening here at IBM Research. You've got all the new stuff in product with AI, and then you guys make it happen in the solution side. Tell us a little bit what customers are asking for right now.
Yeah, so I guess, if I look at all the work we're doing with clients at the moment, multi-model, multi-cloud is absolutely critical.
Oh, data gravity is so important.
Yep. And so they're going to be using models built into all sorts of different applications and engines. Different use cases are going to drive different requirements for models. So that's key. What's really key is, tying back to business value, right? And being able to kind of measure ROI from pilot through to scale. Data. And certainly making sure that we've got this data platform, the data fabric in place to train and tune models, and then governance is the other really key topic.
We'll get to governance later because that was a very great discussion. But billions of dollars have been diverted from budgets to go to generative AI, and you're right, if they have nothing to show for it, what happens? So now let's talk about governance real quick because that's a very important piece. A lot of people forget the importance of governance. How are you guys delivering that?
Yeah, so everything from helping clients think about the strategy, what they've got to do strategically in their organizations, process, organizational controls, etc. Then through to thinking about, the technology, and obviously we have a platform here, What's Next.Governance, that's going to help them manage kind of, model bias, model drift, all of these new regulatory requirements that are going to be coming in around the world, and especially for a large multinational company operating in many different geographies. Like as I'm exposing models into workflows, like what I've got to do to manage compliance against all of these different rules in every country that employees are operating in, lots to worry and think about, but lots of solutions and answers that we have here in IBM.
I'm going to need AI just for compliance alone, right? I mean, between the country requirements, the data requirements, the personal requirements, and how these flows come together, plus all the things that the regulatory bodies are thinking about are about to happen. So when you think about the projects that are going to last going forward, once we get past to 2024, where do you see the trends happening? What's next?
So, certainly I think 2024 is going to be a year of moving from experimentation into real kind of business value and then scaling. I think laying down foundations for scale is going to be really important. I think we're seeing clients not just focusing on use cases around kind of employee productivity and changing processes, but actually thinking about how do we use this stuff to create new types of experiences and ways of engaging with customers. A bit like the work we were doing at US Open this year and creating natural language spoken voice commentary for their highlight reels. But then also, I think as every company is becoming a software company, right? In every industry, how do I now start to create new digital products and services powered with large language models and generative AI, using all of this data that I've got within my organization to create new revenue streams and new business models. And I think we're going to start to see industries reinventing themselves powered through this technology.
Oh no, I agree with you. This is an amazing age that we're jumping into, and of course, the technology is parting this. I'm here with Matt Candy. Thank you so much for being on the show, and more importantly, how can people find you?
Twitter, @Matthew Candy, LinkedIn, Matthew Candy.
All right, well, hey, thank you very much.
All right, good to see you, Ray.
Hello everybody, it's Holger Mueller here from Constellation Research, here to share with you my instant impressions of the keynote delivered by Adam Slipsky this morning here. It was the usual smorgasbord, the usual fire hose of announcements, so many things to pick from. I'm not going to go into specific areas which my colleagues are covering. Definitely check out what has happened on the data side. Listen to what Doug Henshin will come up with on the data decisions area. Listen to what my colleague Diane Hinchcliffe is talking about from the CIO perspective of the whole thing, of Andy Thurai from the AI and the AIOps, MLOps perspective. So I'm going to focus on what I think are overall the most three important takeaways from this not so short keynote of 2.5 hours almost, right? And
some might be a surprise. So my number 3 is the Cooper, whatever I pronounce it, right? It's a Dutch astrologist Cooper, and I speak a little Dutch, speak een beetje Nederlands. So Cooper is AWS ambition to send satellites into the sky and provide a low latency network for people to provide internet all over the world. Now, this has not been tried before. It's interesting that AWS is going into this now. It's obviously very interesting for someone who is an online retailer like Amazon is, and AWS to enable that. But it's also interesting for enterprises who struggle providing worldwide internet access to their own operations anywhere where their employees are. I'm sure it's going to be low cost. Was interesting to see. It just started. The first rockets has just shot. I think I heard over 6,000 have to be in the sky, so it's going to be a while till we're there. And in the background, there's another setup between the multi-billionaires, between Amazon founder Jeff Bezos and a certain Elon Musk. So it's going to be interesting where this is, but an interesting offering and not something that the other clouds are offering. Off to number 2. Number 2 is definitely that AWS is doubling down on building custom silicon, which can run custom algorithms. Very important. Everybody's doing this. Competitor Microsoft recently just announced about doing this for their own instance in their first version. Well, AWS a little more around. The training chip Trainium is on version 2 now. Sees 4 times faster training times. It's up to 65 exaflops. It's inference runtime machine, Inferentia, now also on the number 2, also 4 times higher throughput. Good to see these things in line. 10 times lower latency, and yeah, a second generation product on both sides. Also more important and more advanced is the Graviton chip, AWS custom server underlying infrastructure, right? It started 2018 with Graviton. Now we're in version 4 with Graviton 4. It's more energy efficient. It's good for everything to become greener. There's no question about this. This is positive, but it's also one of the little secrets in the cloud that, sorry about this, going greener saves a little bit on money, which actually is money saved not only for the environment, but also for customers who don't have to pay for it. It's 30% faster for web applications, which is one of the key workloads in AWS. 40% faster for database applications and 45% faster for Java applications, which is something nice to see, good to see. It's going to be interesting where that goes. On Monday, we listened to a customer panel, had a chance on the analyst side. Very interesting there. Both KeyBank from South America, who ported their application, analytics applications there. Same thing from SAP, where they talked about how they moved the HANA Cloud database appliance from the analytics side to there, which is not a small sizing, 4 million lines of code, so it's quite substantial to move that. But with no further ado, let's go to the number 1 announcement, and that certainly is Amazon Q, named after the famous Q from the James Bond movie, the universal assistant to all things across Amazon. So it's the year of artificial intelligence, obviously of generative AI, and the assistants are coming to help. It's very interesting as it's multifaceted from that perspective, not specific things. Starts and engaging in conversations, can solve problems, it can create content like everybody putting themselves and take actions. But the interesting thing, it goes all across the AWS portfolio. So it's not limited to certain things in IT ops or certain things on the developer side. Developer was a big focus of that, obviously. Certain things on business application side, all the way to the call center applications that are very successfully running on AWS, all the way to business users using QuickSight, having insights from that. It's important. It's built on the company's data. And I think it's only to do this at this level compared to the other clouds because AWS has done some of the homework behind there. If you think about Matt Woods called it the original queue, right? The OG, the original first queue, which was there, which was QuickSight a BI tool, and there was a so-called spice layer, which would bring all the information together of a company into one queryable layer. So a lot of that homework has been done. We heard about the no ETL vision being continued, which helps to connect things between the different database products. Everything on one plane for customers to be accessible is very important for delivering on this vision of one assistant. And the breadth of that is very interesting. And while I have the impression a little more by the competition that it's more dedicated part-time solutions, definitely there's a componentized structure. Amazon didn't say much what's behind there in detail on what's happening specifically, how that is run, is there a data lake. What was clear is that SageMaker is critical. SageMaker is not running just Amazon, the company, but SageMaker will run all Amazon customers on the AWS side. But the scope of having one single queue, one single conversational UX for developers and builders, right, which is a huge constituency for AWS. And for a second, also very interesting, so there's a concern that this might scare developers away from their jobs being lost or jobs being replaced, which is not the case. Amazon's trying to make this very clear. It's all about productivity, making people do more things with less, doing less of the drudgery, as often called, of the plumbing, of the hard work of doing this. But the interesting thing is same thing for lines of business, and every developer has some lines of business things to do. Ed Wood again on Monday said very clearly, yeah, you might be just coding all day, but you still want to see what is the business that you're doing with that product, so which goes into the quick side part. But the ability to ask questions, get relevant answers, ask fine detailed questions with fine-grained access control to what you can see, what you can't see, and complete these actions is very, very powerful. And then even with dedicated applications, right, we mentioned quick-sightedness, but also connect the Polestar product. And the only thing in the scope, which kudos to Amazon AWS, everything is available, which was mentioned in the keynote. The only thing which comes later is supply chain, which almost looks like Amazon taking a playbook from some ERP vendors who are always late with their replies on time. So these were my 3 key takeaways from my research areas to a certain point, and overall from another perspective. So the constant connectivity for satellite on a global level. We won't hear that for a while, but I think it's pretty fundamental for Amazon customers, for AWS cloud customers, to provide one consistency and see more competition in that space. It's the battle of the billionaires. It's the ability to bring together the things that the know-how that Amazon has acquired from Anapurna and building custom telecoms with Inferentia, with Trainium 2, both in their version 2 and with Graviton version 4. And last but not least, it's the year of generational AI, the conversational assistant Q, which brings together all these things. And the interesting thing there is, right, on the SaaS side, often vendors use conversational UX to gloss over all the different UIs, different parts, and all collapses into voice as one natural interface. For Amazon, it means that much of its complexity with different services, which also have been built at different times, can be brought over into one single conversational UI, which can be, if done right, and it looks very powerful and promising, can be very, very powerful. Thanks for watching. This is Holger Mueller from Constellation Research here from AWS reInvent in Las Vegas. If you see me here, if you disagree with me here, if you agree with me here, please be social. If you see me, don't be shy, say hi. Thanks for watching. Much appreciated.
That's it, Holger. We're done. We're done. Episode 69, officially in the can. Listen, thanks to everyone for joining on this drop. Episode 70, the big 70, is going to be coming up. I want to say it's the big Enterprise Awards episode. It might be. I think it might be. We know those are coming up, so keep an eye out for those. It's going to be the end of the year. Episode 70 is going to be every single one of us. So for those enough brave souls who want to come and watch episode 70, it's going to be all of the analysts in one CRTV. It's going to be bedlam. Come join us. We're going to have some fun. I know. What can go wrong? Liz Miller, Holger Mueller. You can always check us out on X or whatever social platform suits you in the moment. For the both of us, thanks for watching.
Where is Hannah?
Look, I started the recording of CRTV. Shh. Hannah's going to show up. We will have finished the whole show.
Exactly.
And we'll just be like, Now she's going to bust in here like she's all in charge with a fake background and everything. We're done, Hannah. We've already filmed the whole episode.
Yeah, we're done. It's recorded.
We're done. See ya.
Uploading
Bye.
recordings.
Honestly, y'all don't even need me anymore. Like, Liz already started the recording. Y'all are on here. Like, I'm out of a job, honestly.
Oh, let's be very real. I don't know how to actually get to this recording and do something with it. I just know how to hit the
Not rocket science.
You might be able to get a collaborative Zoom session going because I know how to do it on my account because that's how I record all the time. So.
Oh, see, he could do that, and then we'll just Then it says recording 2. I don't know what that means. Should be a straight line. So if you find your parentheses ones or your bracket ones, you see it.
Look at that!
Why do you have
four scribes, you lowly one scribe.
That's not
Those
helpful.
aren't allowed. I'm taking those down.
That off.
I just had to show you, right? Removing
where's your damn title?
Right?
Where's your title?
So principal analyst is a more valuable title than VP.
Well, then you and I apparently have to have a death match in the middle of this, so there is only one principal analyst. So your argument is shot right at the top. Like,
no,
is this
that is just great.
There can only be one. Like, I don't understand what just happened.
We have like 8 VPs and 8
only be one
here.
Right. We've got 8 VPs, and oh, wait a minute. Every single one of those VPs is a hold on, wait for it now. Principal analyst.
Too much of a
you can tell our 3 you could tell our 3 loyal viewers that you preferred principal analyst over VP, and we'll let them take a vote.
Exactly.
And those votes will come back as Ray Wong saying it's VP and principal analyst, and Ray Jan. So I'm just naming our 3 viewers right now. Hi, Rays.
Because I'm the oldest principal. It's the most tenured principal analyst, right?
So
maybe
how about we put
principal analyst with an asterisk?
VP and crusty principal analyst. Like, I don't know what else we can put for you.
I ate 11-month-old pretzels, right? Talking about crusty.
Oh my God. Why are you eating moldy food? It's not cheese.
It's not moldy.
Mold.
No. Pretzels don't get moldy. I mean, there's no mold on it.
What do they get? Just crusty? Like, I don't understand.
No, they get more crunchy.
I'm reminded of all the trail mix you had in your bag at our last conference that looked like it was a compilation.
You mean this bag?
Trail mix.
Oh God, it's the same bag.
Only because the plastic is shaping from the nuts, it doesn't mean it's bad. What are you guys?
Anytime the word plastic is shaping by the nuts, I'm just going to go ahead and say throw it out.
What percentage of the 100,000 years that humans are around do you think we've eaten from sanitized, clean things?
Well, let's say that it's 10% of humanity. But then let's also then ask the second question to that ridiculous worldview that you just said. How much has our life expectancy increased because we don't do things like, let me put food in with all that green fuzzy stuff that just looks like it could be seasoning. Blah, 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 blah. And then we die by 30. Hello? I'm just going to say that maybe sanitation has had something to do with it. If it's an active culture that's releasing a type of a purine or a
that's
protein,
something we knew all along, Hannah. Don't put anything active into Liz because she might get too active, right? So
too active.
She's already operating at the maximum of activity level here. So we
that kind of feels like comment number 2 that we're going to put in the column of if plastic gets molded by nuts. It's just where there's going to be a column of things that could go really, really badly. You can rewatch it later, Holger. I know it's confusing.
It's mechanical.
Okay. You're getting that little
chafing.
You're gonna get wrinkles. Stop furrowing your brow.
Yeah, you're gonna get. See, I won't get wrinkles. I'm good until I'm like 85, and then everything just falls. Who did that? Someone did that the other day. They had it was like a Zoom filter. I don't know why, but it makes everyone look like they're an anime character that put on way too much blush. And so someone had done that in a meeting earlier this week, and I could not stop laughing because I just kept looking up and they looked like an anime character with way too dark eyebrows and weird circles of blush on their face. And I was like, turn off the focus, turn off the filter. Please turn it off.
So bad. Wait, is that like an AI function?
Yes, it is. How do we get what happened? Yeah, I don't. Yeah, you do something and then it makes a little, woo! I don't know what the hell just happened. It's kind of proof, it's great that everyone gets an AI. But do we really need one right there? Right, Hannah's just gonna sit there until it happens. Like, I'm gonna just stand here until.
Why does it happen to you?
Alrighty, so I guess we're recording. Where's our bug? Hang on. Oh, I'll go ahead and put that on there. Hang on just a second. Oh, look what I did.
Oh. You have to hold still. Come on. It's hard.
Swerve.
Okay, get the wiggles out. Straighten
It's going to be the swerve episode.
Like my head. All right.
There we go. Hannah's openly not listening to us. She is actively not listening to us right now because she's like, why are you talking about dandruff, idiots? Anyway, okay, let's do this. Control your face.